Okay guys, this is Network Security and Penetration Testing, our course on computer forensics and investigations. Again, a disclaimer, whatever we are teaching in this course is purely for academic purposes. If you'll use it for anything other than academic purposes, you're solely responsible for your own activities. Okay? We covered up to the topic last time where we were talking about the preparing digital, we were talking about the public sector investigations and private sector investigations. Now we are talking about preparing a digital investigation, like what's the procedure, how shall we proceed. Now we agreed to a point that something happened, and it happened because of a mistake, deliberate or a non-deliberate act of forgery or penetration within your network, which might have harmed the reputation of your organization, or it might have disrupted the services on your company or a bad reputation in the market. Anything, you can take them to the court. Now, there are set principles for that. Public sector investigations involve government agencies responsible for criminal investigations and prosecutions. Means courts are involved, even the Federal Investigation Authority, if there is in any country which is taking care of the networks and digital forensics. They are responsible to make sure that whoever is using this technology is 100% protected by the law enforcement agencies, and if anything like that takes place, they are the ones who are the first movers. Now, next is understanding the law enforcement agency investigations. When conducting the public sector investigation, you must understand the laws on the computer related crimes, including the standard legal processes, guidelines on search and seizures, and how to build a criminal case. Being the information security specialist, your responsibility is not only looking after what's going on in your network, but you must be aware of that what shall be the possible consequences of these kind of activities. Recently, we received a memorandum of understanding from Ministry of Computer and Information Technology, or Ministry of Information Technology, where all these kind of acts and activities were mentioned, and even the legal processes which we must take against those kind of malpractices were mentioned, with the punishment and the financial what you say, or the both things for the financial activities as well as for the financial losses that you'll go through. You'll have to bear all those things in mind before making any of, or before moving any such moves on the networks. Now, following the legal process means a criminal investigation usually begins when someone finds evidence or witness a crime. Witness or victim may be allegations to the police, like it is an allegation, hence or till it's proven guilty in the court of justice. So the network guys would come up with the proof that that's what actually happened, and due to these evidences we can prove that he's the person who was responsible for those kind of activities. Now, police interview the complainant and writes a report about the crime, and then the report is processed, and management decide to start an investigation or log the information in a police blotter. Blotter is an historical database of the previous crimes if a person was involved in any kind of activities earlier. Now, second step, what is following the legal process is digital evidence first responder. Now it arrives at an incident scene and assesses the situation, takes the precautions, and acquires and preserves the evidence. Means that if they identified a computer, for example, on the network, they'll seize that computer, or the guys who are experts in that field would take the computer from there, and they'll investigate that what were the activities or what other things he was doing using that computer. Now that's in addition to the network log or the network security guys, what they'll be providing, that using this computer he was accessing which other networks or which websites he was going actually, or what was the pattern, whether he was connecting to that machine from home using the VPN connections, or he was using any other browsers like Tor, or using a VPN within an organization to hide that identity. So all those different things are usually taken under consideration before they proceed with any kind of investigations. Then there is a digital evidence specialist. He has the skills to analyze the data and determine when another specialist should be called in to assist him if somehow he needs assistance of recovering the data, for example. The person who was actually using that computer to launch any kind of attacks, he would have wiped out the data, or he would have deleted the things from the computer. So now it's the responsibility of the person who's investigating that if he's capable of recovering the data from the hard disk, he can do it himself. Otherwise they'll have to contact the guys who are into the data recovery, or who are the data recovery experts. Now they use some sophisticated equipment and software and hardware, a combination of both at times, to recover the data which was deleted from the hard disk even long time ago. Affidavit is a sworn statement of a support of facts about the evidence of the crime, must include exhibits that support the allegations that under these circumstances or under these evidences we have investigated and found out that the person is the main culprit who launched these kind of attacks in any environment. Okay, next is understanding the private sector investigations. Private sector investigations involve private companies and lawyers who address the company policy violations and litigations, and you build up a case and then you'll hand it over to the lawyer to defend it in the court and get the right answer from them. Now business strive to minimize or eliminate the litigation which is there in the businesses. They want to process it as fast as possible. So if they found out that something could be happened or something could be managed locally, they try to resolve it within the organization unless there were huge losses which were incurred because of a malpractice by someone. Now, private sector crimes can involve email harassment. If someone is constantly sending you or harassing you through the emails, or falsification, telling you that I have all your information and I can spread it on the social media and I can harm damage to your overall stature and stuff like that. So that's falsification. And any data about you, your information, your family, your pictures, your family pictures, or anything like that comes under the category of understanding the private sector investigations. But plus, businesses can introduce the risk of litigation by publishing and maintaining policies that employees find easy to read and follow. From time to time, there will be small seminars, discussions through emails. The IT department will be informing you about that what things you must do and what things you must not do. Like we have lots of instructions available in the student labs about do and don'ts, what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do in the student labs. Now it's up to the students that if they are reading it or not, but it's displayed out there, it's there on the website. So if you are using the internet of the university by law, you are complying with the policies which has been enforced by the university in acceptable usage policy. Now, a line of authority states that who is the legal right to initiate the investigation. They'll decide that if anything really happened, or it's just the doubt that something is taking place on the network. Now, businesses can avoid litigation by displaying a warning on the computers. For example, if you are trying to log into the computer, there will be a notification right in front of you that by logging into the computers, you are complying with the fair usage policy of the computers, and this computer must not be used for any illegal activity which might harm you, your organization, or any other organization where from using that computer you'll be targeting any other computers locally or internationally. Now, sample text can be used for internal warning, use of system or network official business use only. System networks are subject to be monitored, like we are monitoring the network, and we inform the employees, students, faculty, and staff that we do monitor your internet activity using the system, which implies the consent by monitoring by the owner, and unauthorized or illegal user of the system or the network will subject to discipline or prosecution, etc. Now, since we network administrators have the access to the resources on the network, emails, your traffic, whatever is going on the network, but we literally don't have time to sit and follow individuals. The first thing which comes to the mind to the clients or the users on the network, that these guys in the IT, they keep on monitoring us and all those things. We don't go after your personal space. It's not like we'll be following that, okay, since morning you have opened these websites and that's what you're doing, you must be working and you're wasting a lot of time in all those things, and why you are on XYZ websites, etc. That's not our responsibility. We come in action when we see that something's wrong taking place on the network. It could be malpractices. It could be that you're not aware and your computer is affected by the virus or any other worm and it's spreading that thing on the network. So we monitor those things, then we come and check what's going on these machines or the computers. Businesses are advised to specify an authorized requester who has the power to initiate the investigations, who will take the decision that whether they are going to follow it along or they are going to just handle it within the organization. Examples of the groups with authority are corporate security investigators, usually from the IT department. Then the corporate ethics office. There is a general ethical responsibility if you are working in an organization, that what things you must be doing and what things you must not be doing. So that's the office which is making sure that each and every person who's working in that organization is complying to the policies. Corporate Equal Employment Opportunity Office, which is giving the rights and making sure that no one is above the law. If there is a policy, it's a policy for everyone. Internal auditing, where we are constantly checking the best practices which are being adopted in order to utilize the services. And the General Counsel of the Legal Department, which is usually comprised of the persons who are the lawyers or who will be taking in charge of these kind of activities. During the private sector investigations, you search for evidence and support the allegations or violations of the company rules on a tax or its assets. Three types of situations are common: abuse via email or internet, and then they'll be monitoring it for these kind of activities. Now, why people are doing all these things? Sometimes it happens that the same businesses, just in anger or just to demonize someone or just to make their market reputation bad in front of the public, they'll do certain activities with their rival parties. It's just like you have a company A which is selling computers on the internet, and there is a company B which is selling computers on the internet. Services are the same offered by both companies. So sometimes it happens that the company B would try to target company A for different kind of ways by passing insulting remarks or sending insulting emails or telling the customers bad things about the company A and all those things. So if it's more than certain threshold, you can take them to the court that they are actually trying to bring down the overall reputation of my company in front of the public. The distinction between personal and company property can be difficult with cell phones, smartphones, and personal notebooks, etc. because nowadays, as we discussed earlier, there is a phenomena of bring your own device. Means that the mobile phone you are using, the tablet or a laptop which you will bring it along with you in the organization, is not handled by us, or we did not purchase it, or we cannot install our security suite on your personal machines. So it's your responsibility to make sure that your machines are free from any kind of viruses or things. Now a question arises that, for example, you bring in your own device or a USB which you have connected to a computer, and because of that a virus migrated from your machine to the network. Now how we'll find out that it's you who is spreading that on the network? First of all, we have the authentication mechanism. So even if you are connected to the internet and you have connected the Ethernet port to the computer, or you are connected to the Wi-Fi network of the organization, once you are connected to the Wi-Fi network or to the Ethernet, to the LAN of the company, it would ask you for a username and password. Now that username and password authenticates you that who is the person who will be using internet using this device. The moment you are authenticated, we have all your details that who was the actual owner of this specific device. Now professional conduct includes the ethics, morals and standards and behavior. It's not like everything should be forced upon the employees. There are some ethical and religious or moral beliefs or responsibilities on our behalf. When we know that we cannot abuse the services, we must not use it for those purposes. Just to give you a simple example, if you are in office, that internet computer or the services which are provided to you are solely for professional activities. We noticed and we sent warning to the guys when we found out that all day what they were doing is they were sitting in their office and in 1080p they were watching the latest soccer matches which took place last week or last year. Entirely up to the guys how they want to do it, but they must know that if they are watching these kind of matches or watching movies in offices, they are consuming a considerable amount of bandwidth which would have been utilized for something productive. But just because you are watching those movies and doing something which is not related to the work, affecting the overall infrastructure, thus you need to stop it or you need to block those websites so that people are not wasting time in these kind of activities. An investigator must exhibit the high level of professional behavior at all times, maintaining the objectivity and maintain the credibility by maintaining the confidentiality. Now, the guys who are into IT, they must show it themselves that it's not like they are stopping others to do certain things, whereas they have a complete gaming arena in their own office where they are setting up computers and playing network games and all those things. Not going to happen. And then you must be credible enough, people must have confidence in you that whatever you're saying, you are following it yourself. It's not like I have the access to the emails and stuff, so I will be opening the mailboxes of every other person and reading the emails that what they are doing in their daily task. That does not happen like that. It's your own moral and professional responsibility towards handling these kind of things. Now, investigators should also attend the trainings on weekly, monthly, as many as possible. That would keep you updated against any kind of new threats, new techniques used to handle these kind of situations, any new softwares which are out there in the market. So all those things would help you in collecting that kind of information. Now that's our last slide as far as this topic is concerned. The role of digital forensics professional is to gather the evidence, collect the evidence, and then you must have a chain of custody. Now, chain of custody means that if you found out something, to whom you will report it to. Now, you found out something, you'll involve the network team, you'll find the risk assessment team, and there is a procedure we follow. If we found something, for example, someone came from the internet or someone came from an external connection, you'll ask the network team to give us the evidence that in the past 1 month, how many times someone accessed our network from this external IP address. So they'll find all those details and provide you. Then we may ask them that this PC was used to launch an attack, that how many computers this PC has accessed in the past 1 month. So it would give a complete log of that information, giving us a clear clue that those are the other computers that could have been compromised as well, because he was checking them. Maybe he was doing something suspicious on those computers as well. That's it for today. We'll be covering an overview of computer crime in the next lecture, inshallah.